In 1945, a single flash of light turned 80,000 people into shadows on the pavement. The scientists who created that light would spend the rest of their lives wishing they could take it back. This is the story of the most destructive invention in human history, and the brilliant minds who became haunted by what they built. Before we begin, I want to ask you for a small favor. If you're curious about stories where science meets mystery and injustice, stay until the very end. Your time here helps this channel grow. So hit that like button, subscribe, and let's uncover another truth that history tried to bury. August 2nd, 1939. A letter arrives at the White House. It's signed by Albert Einstein, the most famous scientist in the world. The letter warns President Franklin D. Roosevelt of a terrifying possibility. Nazi Germany might be building a weapon so powerful it could destroy entire cities with a single bomb. Roosevelt reads the letter and makes a decision that will change human history forever. He greenlights the most expensive and secretive scientific project ever attempted. The goal: build an atomic bomb before Hitler does. They call it the Manhattan Project. But here's what most people don't know. Einstein didn't actually write most of that letter, and he would later call signing it the greatest mistake of his life. The real author was a Hungarian physicist named Leo Szilard. He was the first person to realize that splitting an atom could create a chain reaction, releasing massive amounts of energy. In 1933, Szilard filed a secret patent for a nuclear chain reaction. He knew exactly what it meant: a bomb that could end the world. Szilard was terrified that Nazi scientists would figure it out first, so he convinced Einstein to use his famous name to get the president's attention. It worked. But neither of them imagined what would happen next. The Manhattan Project became the largest scientific undertaking in history. Over 130,000 people worked on it. The budget was $2 billion, equivalent to about $30 billion today. Entire cities were built in secret across the United States just to house the workers and laboratories. The project had three main sites: Oak Ridge in Tennessee, where they enriched uranium, Hanford in Washington, where they created plutonium, and Los Alamos in New Mexico, where the actual bombs were designed and built. Leading the project was a brilliant and complicated man named J. Robert Oppenheimer, a theoretical physicist who spoke 8 languages, read ancient Sanskrit, and quoted Hindu scripture. He was chosen to lead Los Alamos, despite FBI warnings that he had communist sympathies and could not be trusted with national secrets. Oppenheimer gathered the greatest scientific minds of the generation: Enrico Fermi, who built the first nuclear reactor; Richard Feynman, who would later win the Nobel Prize; Niels Bohr, one of the founders of quantum mechanics. These weren't just scientists. They were geniuses who could have spent their lives advancing human knowledge. Instead, they built a weapon of mass destruction. The work was grueling and dangerous. Scientists handled radioactive materials with primitive safety equipment. Many would die decades later from radiation-related cancers. Security was extreme. Workers in one part of the project had no idea what workers in another part were doing. Most didn't even know they were building a bomb. By 1945, after 3 years of round-the-clock work, they were ready to test. On July 16th, in the New Mexico desert, they detonated the first atomic bomb. The test was codenamed Trinity. The explosion was unlike anything ever seen. A flash brighter than 1,000 suns lit up the desert at 5:29 a.m. The fireball was so hot, it turned sand into glass. The mushroom cloud rose 7 miles into the sky. Windows shattered 120 miles away. The shockwave was felt 160 miles away. Oppenheimer, watching from a bunker 10 miles away, later said that a line from Hindu scripture flashed through his mind: "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." Some scientists cheered. Others fell silent. One physicist vomited. Another cried they had succeeded in creating the most powerful weapon ever built. And in that moment, many of them realized they had made a terrible mistake. But it was too late. 3 weeks later, on August 6, 1945, a B-29 bomber called Enola Gay dropped a uranium bomb nicknamed Little Boy on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. The bomb exploded 1,900 feet above the city. In an instant, the temperature at ground zero reached over 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit. People simply evaporated. Their shadows were burned into walls and pavement. Those are the only proof they ever existed. 80,000 people died immediately. By the end of the year, the death toll reached 140,000 as radiation sickness killed thousands more. Survivors suffered from burns, blindness, cancer, and genetic damage that affected their children and grandchildren. 3 days later, on August 9th, the United States dropped a second bomb, pavement, on Nagasaki. Another 70,000 people died. Japan surrendered 6 days later. World War II was over. The atomic bomb had ended the deadliest war in human history. But at what cost? Here's what they don't tell you in history class. Many of the Manhattan Project scientists were horrified when they learned the bombs were used on cities full of civilians. They thought the bomb would be demonstrated on an uninhabited island as a warning, not dropped directly on hundreds of thousands of people. Szilard, the man who started it all, circulated a petition begging President Truman not to use the bomb without warning Japan first. 70 scientists signed it. The petition was ignored and kept secret until after the war. Einstein, whose letter had launched the Manhattan Project, said if he had known Germany wouldn't succeed in building an atomic bomb, he never would have lifted a finger. He spent his final years advocating for nuclear disarmament and called his role in creating the bomb his great mistake. Oppenheimer's regret was even deeper. After the war, he opposed development of the even more powerful hydrogen bomb. This made him enemies in the government. In 1954, he was stripped of his security clearance in a humiliating public hearing, essentially accused of being a security risk and possible Soviet sympathizer. He spent his later years haunted by what he had created. In a famous 1965 television interview, when asked if there was any way he could have stopped the bomb project, Oppenheimer replied, "This is a question I had to ask myself many times, and I cannot give you an answer." Many other scientists from the Manhattan Project also spent decades regretting their work. Some became anti-nuclear activists. Others suffered from depression and guilt. The physicist Joseph Rotblat was the only scientist who quit the Manhattan Project on moral grounds. He left in 1944 when he realized Germany had already lost the nuclear race. He spent the rest of his life campaigning for nuclear disarmament and won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1995. But perhaps the most disturbing part of this story is how it's remembered today. The Manhattan Project is often celebrated as a triumph of American science and engineering. The men who built it are called heroes who ended the war and saved lives. But those scientists didn't see themselves as heroes. They saw themselves as people who had opened Pandora's box and unleashed something terrible on humanity, a weapon so powerful that using it again could end human civilization. Today, 9 countries possess nuclear weapons. There are approximately 13,000 nuclear warheads in the world. A single modern thermonuclear bomb is 3,000 times more powerful than the one dropped on Hiroshima. Experts estimate that a full-scale nuclear war would kill billions of people and create a nuclear winter that would end most life on Earth. The scientists who built the first atomic bomb gave humanity the power to destroy itself, and they spent the rest of their lives warning us never to use it again. The question is, will we listen? So, the next time someone celebrates the atomic bomb as a great scientific achievement, remember the people who actually built it. Remember that they died with regret, haunted by the shadows burned into the pavement in Hiroshima. Remember that genius without wisdom can create monsters we can never put back in the box. That's the real story of the Manhattan Project. Not a tale of heroic scientists who saved the world, but a tragedy about brilliant people who created something they couldn't control, something that might one day destroy us all. If you made it this far, thank you for being part of this journey. Before you go, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications. It really helps us grow and keep uncovering these hidden truths. This is Mr. Curiosity, where we dig deeper than the history books, where imagination meets reality, and where every story reveals just how dangerous our world can be. See you in the next one.